Cute little pumpkins. In this video, I am going to share with you a step-by-step pattern of making these cute little pumpkins which are good for making keychains. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to DIY Crafts. I am using 4-ply 100% cotton yarn and a 2.5 mm crochet hook. So for the stem, I am going to begin with a brown color yarn. Begin with a slip knot with a long starting tail end. Now adjust the loop. Now wrap the starting tail end around the hook as shown in the video. Yarn over and draw the yarn through both the loops at a time. So this is the way you make a I cord, and repeat this 4 times to make the stem of the pumpkin. So that's the third one, and finally the fourth one. Now chain 1 and then trim the excess thread by leaving 3 to 4 inches of length. Fasten off and put this aside, and let's start making the pumpkin with the orange yarn. Begin with the magic ring. So make a loop on your hand like this. Now from the center, take the yarn out of the loop. Chain 1 and secure the magic ring. Now let's start making the first row. We have to make 6 single crochet stitches into the center. So drop a loop from the center and make 1 single stitch. Now into that first stitch, put your stitch marker. As we are working in spirals, it is important to mark the starting stitch of each and every row. So this is the second single stitch. Again from the center, that's the third single stitch. Adjust the magic circle if needed by pulling the starting tail end. That's the fourth single stitch. 5 and 6. Now pull the starting tail end and close the magic ring. Now remove the stitch marker and let's start making the second row. So insert the needle onto the top of the first single stitch. Drop a loop and make a single stitch. Now this is the first stitch of the second row, so put a stitch marker in that stitch. And now according to the pattern, we have to make an increase in the first stitch. As we have already completed 1 stitch, put the needle back into the same stitch and make 1 more single stitch. So you have 2 single crochet stitches worked in the same stitch, so that is an increase. Now we are going to repeat the same pattern of increases throughout the row. So that's the second increase. Now increase in the third stitch, that's 2 single crochet stitches in the third stitch, and do the same thing for rest of the 3 stitches as well. So here I am making the last increase of the first row, so that's the 6th increase. So you will have 12 single crochet stitches by the end of the second row. Now remove the stitch marker and let's start making the third row. Begin with 1 single stitch and then put the stitch marker back into this new stitch, and this marks the beginning of the third row. Now in the next stage we have to make 1 increase, that is 2 single crochet stitches into the same stitch. So for the third row the pattern is 1 single stitch and 1 increase, and that is going to be repeated throughout the row until the starting point. So here I am making the 6th repetition, so that's 1 single stitch, and in the next stitch the increase. So this is the 6th repetition, and this completes the third row with 18 single stitches. Remove the stitch marker and let's start making the fourth row with 1 single crochet. Now put the stitch marker into this stitch, and this marks the beginning of the fourth row. Now into the next stitch make 1 more single stitch. So we have 2 single crochet stitches, and now in the next stitch make an increase, that is 2 single stitches worked into the same stitch. And now we are going to repeat this pattern of 2 single stitches, increase in each and every stitch throughout the row until the starting point. So here we have to do the last repetition. So 1 stitch in the first one, 1 more stitch in the next stitch, and increase in the last stitch. And by the end of the fourth row you will have 24 single stitches. So it's like a small round And now let's start making the 5th row. Remove the stitch marker, and from row 5 to row 8 we are going to make only one single crochet in each and every stitch throughout the row. As we are not making any increases in all these rows, the count will remain the same. That's 24 single crochet stitches in each row. So that's 3, 4 and keep on counting like that, and make sure you work only one single stitch in each and every stitch throughout the row from row 5 to row 8. So here I am making the last single stitch of the 8th row, and once this row is completed, stop it here, and the shape will look something like a ball. And now we are going to attach the stem on the top of the project. So take the brown color stem which we have already kept aside and attach it by using a tapestry needle onto the center of the magic ring. And now once both the threads are at the center, secure them by making a couple of knots at the top of the pumpkin. And leave the tail ends into the project. These will be as a stuffing into the project. You don't have to weave in them. So once the top is nicely secured, let's continue with the remaining pattern. Adjust the loop, remove the stitch marker, and let's start making the 9th row. Begin with one single stitch. Again put the stitch marker back, and this marks the beginning of the 9th row. Now make one more single stitch in the next stitch. So that's 2 single stitch, and now we have to make an invisible decrease. So insert your needle into front loops of the next 2 stitches. Yarn under, drop a loop and make a single stitch. So that's 2 single stitch and 1 invisible decrease. Again we are going to repeat the same thing. That's 2 single stitch, and now for the decrease, insert the hook into the front loops of the next 2 stitches. Yarn under, drop a loop and make a single stitch, and repeat this pattern throughout the row until you reach the starting point. So here I am making the last invisible decrease. So needle into front loops of the next 2 stitches, drop a loop and then a single stitch. So this completes the 9th row, and you will have 18 single stitches. Remove the stitch marker and let's start making the 10th row. Begin with one single stitch. Put the stitch marker into this new stitch to mark the beginning of 10th row, and now make one invisible decrease. So again insert the needle into front loop of next 2 stitches, drop a loop and then single stitch, and repeat this throughout the row. So this is the second repetition. One single stitch, again one invisible decrease. And now repeat this pattern throughout the row. That is, we have to repeat it for 6 times, and once the row is done you will have 12 single stitches. Now stop working here and let's add stuffing into the project. Take a good amount of fiber fill and stuff it into the project. It should be firm and hold the shape nicely even after squeezing it a little bit. Now let's continue with the 11th row. Remove the stitch marker and begin with one invisible decrease. So put your needle into front loops of next 2 stitches, drop a loop and make a single stitch. So that's the first invisible decrease. And in the last row we will have 6 invisible decreases. So slowly one after the other, complete making all the 6 invisible decreases. Now by the end of this row we will have 6 single stitches. Here I am making the last invisible decrease. Now remove the stitch marker, and now in the next stitch make a slip stitch. Now chain 1 and then trim the excess thread by leaving a very long tail end. We are going to use this tail end to give the detailing required for the pumpkin. Fasten off, and now with the help of a tapestry needle we are going to close the last opening of the project. So insert the needle into the front loops of all the 6 stitches. So that's the third one, 4, 5 and 6. Now pull the tail end and this will close the opening. Now we have to secure it by making a knot. And now we are going to give the detailing. So insert the tail end into the center and pull it out all the way through the magic center. And now pull it tightly so that it will hold the shape of a pumpkin. And now wrap the tail end as shown in the video to give the detailing for the project. So before that, I am just making one more knot on the top to secure the shape of a pumpkin. And now wrap the tail end all the way till the bottom of the pumpkin. Again repeat the same process on the other side as well. So this will give you the nice creases look that will be there for the pumpkin. And we have to repeat it for 6 to 8 times, or how many times ever you wanted to repeat it throughout the pumpkin. So here I have just repeated it 6 times. So alternatively, if you do this, it will give you a nice creases, and every time make sure you pull it up tightly so that the stitches will squeeze and it will give you a nice creasy look. And this is the other side of the pumpkin. So repeat the same process. Take the tail end from the bottom closing loop till the magic ring and then bring it all the way through the magic ring. And once all the creases were done, you can just pull the tail end tightly and then secure it by making a simple knot on the top. Now hide the excess thread into the stuffing and then trim the threads close to the project, and that's it. Your cute little pumpkins are now ready. You can use this for your Halloween decorations or as a keychains and card decorations, or even gift it to your friends. I hope you all enjoyed watching this tutorial. Do give this pattern a try and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Written pattern is given in the description. Do check it out. See you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, share it and subscribe to DIY Crafts.